Hello everybody, I'm Chaz Bryant and welcome to Charlotte Sports Today. As you can see, we're here on location for a great MMA action. It's Fight Lab. They took their show on the road to Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, which is where we're at right now. It's going to be a great night of enjoyable fights for these young men and women serving the armed forces. A lot of the guys on this card are either in the military right now or were in the past, and they serve the country with great distinction and great presence to protect the liberties that we all have. We're also going to bring you some action from out the North Carolina. We're going to bring you some guys, some discussion about what's going on in the state, maybe some Panther talk. We'll get what's going on with college basketball and college football. It's a great night of sports action right here on Charlotte Sports Today, so sit back and we hope you enjoy it.
The 9/11 memorial is for my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
And for my brother.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
And that we are strong.
It's for the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
The first fight of the night features Steve Sadek versus Carl Pope in his first fight. Sadek at 0-1. This fight went all 3 rounds, with Carl Pope coming up the victory. Let's send it to Joe Pacheco.
Here with Carl Pope from SMA. Dude went in there, controlled the whole fight. Basically, man, just kind of owned him on his feet, man. Was that the game plan going into the fight?
There was no game plan. Just stand and bang with him. I just had a long reach, and I got it. I came and I got it. So
that's exactly what you did, man. The ground game looked good. Transitioned very well off the bottom. When he went and attempted to take down, the takedown defense was really good. Is that something you train like every day, or?
Train every damn thing, everything. Because that man right there, Roger Carroll, he's the best.
That's right. That's right. I'm telling you, man, nice debut, man. How did it feel fighting in front of the troops, man? How nice was that to be your first fight to be
awesome.
in front of this?
Awesome. It was great. From my girlfriend, my father, making my coach proud, I feel good.
We stays in shape, don't we, fool?
Right.
We stays in shape.
Well, is there anybody you want to thank or anything like that?
SMA, where I train, my coach Roger Carroll, my father Carl Pope, and my girlfriend Jessica Turner.
Some big boys out there. John Vernon versus Ariel Montañez. Both guys coming in at 0-1. But Vernon was hungry for it. The ref stops the fight in the first round due to strikes.
John Vernon, his first win. Actually been excellent stop on the takedown. The ground and pound looked really good. Was that the game plan going into it? Was, just stuff it and beat him about the head?
No, honestly, the game plan was to stand on my feet, pick my shots, be technical. It just didn't play out that way, so we just had to adapt.
I understand it. Are you upset that it turned out that way?
Not at all. I'm glad to get my first win after coming off an initial loss. Just feels great, man. It's no better feeling.
What did you do? Did you do anything special to prepare for this, prepare for this fight, or anything out of the ordinary to prepare for him? Because he was a lot shorter, a little stockier.
No, honestly, I didn't find out about this fight till Monday. So I had like 3 or 4 days to cut 15 pounds. So that was my only concern coming into this fight, was making weight. After that, just had to, whatever the fight gave me, just take it. So.
Well, how did it feel getting that nice chain from Fight Lab on your first win, man? If you want to win anywhere else, man, how did it feel winning in front of these troops, man?
Well, a lot of the guys that I train with have got a Fight Lab chain, so I wanted one for myself. And I'm going to tell you what, fighting in front of this crowd is the best thing ever. I mean, it inspires you so much when you see all these people out here who make sacrifices every day. We just do 9 minutes.
Some of the tall, lanky guys. Tommy DiBernardo versus Matthew Messer. Tommy at an even 4-4. Messer coming in at 2-3. These guys would bang for all 3 rounds. And the judges will decide this fight. Who they give it to?
I'm here.
What's up, Fight Lab?
With Tommy Barandino. Go ahead, stay right.
Tommy DiBernardo, for y'all that don't know that Italian slang. It's a little tough, but we'll work on it. Pacheco, you know, Italian roots, maybe somewhere down the line.
A sprinkle. He
sprinkles, he wiggles. Do the big toe dance.
Well, here, man, that was a battle, dude. Came down to a split decision. Y'all were both banging it out, man. It was a good fight overall. What did you think?
I was kind of disappointed with myself in my performance. You know, I trained with the best team in North Carolina. I should perform like way better than I did today. And I'd like to apologize to all my guys at Renegade, my coach, Phil, everybody. You will not see a fight like that out of me again. Before I step back in this cage, I will be no judges' decisions, no split decisions. Fights will be over. I'm happy to get the dub though. And I'm gonna say it, try to say it like you say it. Renegade! But let him say it, he's better.
All right, just for you. Renegade!
There we go.
Man, anything, how was training as far as this
training was tough. I mean, with my schedule work, I'd like to get into the Renegade more often, but it was tough. When I was there, we do work. So we can win fights like that when it gets tough.
That's right, and you...
Nothing is in you don't want to answer me, or nothing is in you don't see a problem?
Nothing is in I don't see a problem.
What's your prediction for
early knockout.
Early, wait a minute. What is early mean? Is that like first round, 10 seconds, what?
It was a group of us. Some of us are here. I have a win that's slated for a second, so I'm trying to beat that record.
Wow, I'm gonna leave it at that. Good luck, guys.
A little talk before this fight. You never heard anything. Shalom Stanley versus Ben Ronson. Stanley, great record, 7-2. Ronson at 6-16. It's over. Quick in the first round. 10-second KO.
Just had a 10-second knockout, which is, I think, third in Fight Lab history. Man, how the hell does that feel?
It feels pretty good. We had a little thing going throughout the day that I wanted to beat my record of 34 seconds, and I meant that. And so I went out there and tried to do that.
That you did, man. That you did. What was the game plan coming into it? How was training, you know, for this fight? I know you had a fight a month ago at Coyote Joe's, man. Did work there as well.
Yeah, I had a fight a month ago. You know, you guys were there. I didn't train after that fight, really. I needed to take a break. I'd had 2 fights in a row, maybe a month apart. He called me up, sent me a message, and I was able to show up for him and help him out. You know, I know they didn't want to miss fights on the card, so for him to call me up that short of notice within a week, why not? And at a place like this, why not?
Absolutely, man. How did it feel fighting in front of all these troops, man?
It felt good. It felt good. I kept thinking a lot about UFC. They do the fights for the troops, and you know, it's a good cause, and I'm glad I was able to put on the show for them.
Absolutely, man. And I know this in your first rodeo Fight Lab, so you know, end of the interview was coming up, man. Yeah. You got to bust a move for us. Go ahead and do your thing.
I don't dance.
Come on, man. Gangsta and Boogie, dude. I mean, I would say. Hell of a fight, bro. Hell of a fight, man.
Nice. No.
Oops. Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Joey Bennett versus Dan Sandler. Bennett, 1-0. Daniel Sandler, 1-1. Great striking and some great wrestling by the Staff Sergeant of the Marines, Daniel Sandlin. However, this fight would almost go to a judge's decision. However, it's Dan Sandlin coming out with the victory by submission in the 3rd round.
Daniel Sandlin, who just had a very, very dominant win. Let me ask you a quick question, man. What was the game plan going into it? How do you feel about your fight?
I felt great about the fight. I'm kind of disappointed that I couldn't finish it earlier. The game plan was more of a, I don't know, I like to let the hands go, and then I was hoping he would shoot in on me, which he ended up doing in the 3rd desperately, but I kind of got a little wild and weary with my hands, so I promise you guys next time you'll see a better performance out of me. I just kind of got in there. It's been 7 months, so I just kind of got anxious, a little too anxious.
Okay, being an active duty staff sergeant for the Marines, man, how did it feel coming in front of your fellow, military to put on a great show like that?
This is the 2nd military show I fought on. I gotta say, the first one, I got to fight in front of a bunch of Marines, which was cool, but it's actually cooler to get to fight against a different service, get to fight in front of a different service, because I'm around Marines all day, but it's cool to see that the other services are getting just as big in MMA as the Marine Corps is.
Absolutely. How does it feel to wear that nice dog chain around your neck, man?
Hey, I gotta say that I'm a YouTube freak, so I get to watch all your Fight Lab fights on YouTube. I'm from Jacksonville. I know you guys are out of Charlotte, but I said months ago that I want to fight for you guys. So sorry about the profanity, but it feels pretty nice.
To hell with the profanity. All right, now we're at the end of obviously you said you watched the YouTube videos and all that good stuff. So let's see the dance move you got set up for us.
All right, so I gotta tell you guys, it's the creep. I don't know if you guys are ready for the creep, but it's, when you're at the ATM, that person kind of comes up on you like this. That's my dance move in the club. I come up on a chick, and I'm just like getting all creepy on her. I get creepy on her, I ain't gonna lie. So,
dude, heck of a fight, man.
Kevin Kane versus Curtis Owens in his debut fight. This is Kane's 2nd fight. Interestingly enough, his first fight was right here in front of the tree a couple months ago. Some work early in the first round, and he gets a win by submission, a real naked choke. And how great is this? His young son comes up to help him out with a victory inside the cage. Let's set it for Keith, the Rockstar Richardson.
You've got Keith the Rockstar Richardson here, and I'm here with Kevin Kane. I said that right?
Kane, yes. Yeah.
All right. Hey, win it
like that.
There you go. This is your 2nd fight, right?
Second fight, yeah.
Second fight. Now, how different did it go in the cage as opposed to your game plan?
My game, I don't really plan for like a game. I just go fight. It's my hobby. I love to do it. I just go fight.
No game plan, just go in there and bang.
Just go fight. If we bang, we bang. If it's submission.
I love that. I'm not a big game planner myself. What kind of training camp did you have going into this?
Really, I travel a lot for the unit that I'm with. We go on a lot of TDYs. So my training camp is whatever I put myself through. So I have to be real motivated to get that cardio in. And then at least 3 days a week, I'm in ABI. I make that drive and go that 45 minutes. There's another gym in Greenville, but ABI is my home. That's where I'm going to be.
Now we got to see Junior Kene in the cage tonight. How big was it to get the big win in front of your son?
It's awesome. That's my pride and joy. That's my life. Is my kids. I have 2 sons, and the other one he's not quite walking yet, or he'd be up there too.
The main event for the evening. Rob Tate versus Jared Miller. Rob Tate at a 4-3 record versus Jared Miller at 5-0. Jared getting the best of Rob Tate. Jared taking it to the ground. Jared Miller picks up the win by armbar in the first round. Set it to keep the Rockstar Richardson.
The Rockstar Richardson here. I'm here with Jared Miller. Tell me a little bit about the fight and how'd it go?
I expected Rob to, honestly, to beat me down a little bit. His college coach was the best wrestler Fuquay's had, and he did everything right. It's just I'm longer, so it worked out in my advantage.
All right, what differed from your game plan going into this fight than happened in the cage?
I expected him to shoot pretty quickly, hence his good wrestling, but I just wanted to jab and circle to his he stands in his wrestling stance. I just wanted to circle towards his I guess power hand to keep away from him taking me down, but we ended up on the ground anyways.
How was the whole experience fighting on an Air Force base, you know, surrounded by military personnel? You know, we had a bunch of military guys on the card. How was the whole event for you?
I'm honored to fight on the same card as the men and women that serve our country, and the airmen and women were great to us. After weigh-ins, showed us around the whole base, showed their day-to-day life and how they serve our country, so it was a good experience.
Awesome. Is there anybody especially that you want to thank for this fight, you know, for your training camp and everything?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Team Edge, my coach, of course, Ryan for coming out, TFTC Academy. I've been training with them this past week because my coach hurt his bicep, tore it. It's way up here, but yeah, Neil and Jeff helped me prepare when my coach was injured, so big thanks to them, and Rev Gear, they're my sponsors, so it's cool, and my sister with the creativity with the
new #1 contender, 145-pound title, December the 8th, Jared Miller versus Sergio Bolo. Coyote Joe's.
Thank you, sir.
Good man.
This is Chaz Bryant, very uncomfortable right now with Keith Rockstar Richardson and Joe, the Elite Championship. Light heavyweight Pacheco. Joe, if you can uncomfortably tell me, what was your fight of the night?
It had to be Sloane Staley. To have a 10-second knockout is just unbelievable. I mean, just to have the speed and the strength and the explosiveness that he did in that fight was remarkable. I mean, knockout of the night, fight of the night, that was it. 10 seconds or less, called him out at weigh-ins. Overall, good fight.
Keith, is that a nipple that I'm feeling on my shoulder?
It's a little chilly.
It's a little chilly. What was your fight of the night?
You know, personally, I liked Daniel Staley. Sandlin.
Yeah.
First of all, 2 Marines going at it. How could you not like that? You know, me being a Marine, I love it when 2 devil dogs go at it.
And they didn't drink too. Is the most important part. They're actually legalized. They're legal to fight. Not like the other crazy times Marines fight.
You know, we've been known to throw it back and, you know, pound the crap out of each other, or, you know, assault a stripper in a club, or it's just what Marines do. We fight, and that's why there was a lot of Marines on this card tonight. You know, the other thing I liked was he recognized me in the crowd and knew who I was.
He actually knows us. He
exactly.
Actually
yeah.
Fight Lab.
He follows Fight Lab. He follows Chaz. He follows me. He follows Joe. I mean, how could you not like this kid?
And a great performance.
And then he put on a great performance tonight.
Actually.
We had a bunch of great performances. You know, fighting at an Air Force base where our servicemen do their job every day. Can't not have a great event.
It would only be so sweeter if you guys were about 2 inches apart from me right now. That's the only thing I can.
Did he say 2 inches closer?
He said closer.
Let's make this sandwich tight.
I hate to ask the next question because it's going to further prolong this man which we have going on here. How did you feel coming into this fight? It's on a great Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in front of these troops here. And these fights, all 8 of them, were what these guys probably needed, wanted. during the course of weeks and months and training and stuff like that?
Well, Fight Lab put on a great show here. I mean, it was top notch, dude. It was class act. The audience and people here who participated in all the festivities that they did. It was great, man. The atmosphere was just astronomically great. And I mean, it's just, man, I can't wait to come back to the Air Force Base and put on another show with you guys.
And Keith, me and you served in the Marines. You did a couple of tours overseas. I did a couple of tours overseas. And I think Joe's pelvis is doing a couple of tours on my leg right now. But just talk about how you felt coming into this great atmosphere surrounded by all these servicemen.
Fight Lab always puts on a great event. Everything was top notch except for the behavior of myself and Joe, probably. Everything else was great. The only question I have is, when is Fight Lab going to Camp Lejeune? Fight Lab needs to go to Camp Lejeune. The Marines are we're fighting people. I think they need some Fight Lab in their lives over at Camp Lejeune. We're doing great things over at the Air Force Base, but give the Marines an outlet to punch each other in the face.
And talking about faces, I have the face of Joe Pacheco, Keith the Rockstar Richardson. When we come back, we'll head back into the studio, and hopefully I get a little action tonight. So we'll see you in a little bit.
The 9/11 memorial is for my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
And for my brother.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
And that we are strong.
It's for the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
All right, I'm pleased to be joined by Pudgy Miller, host of the nationally syndicated radio talk show program, Keeping It Real at Pudgy. Pudgy, thank you very much for joining me outside. Looks like you're in the blistering cold out there.
Yeah, it's freezing, man. I need my mitts on so I can be like the real ESPN analyst and have my mitts on and use some fake snow or something, man. That'd be great.
Well, let's get to this first subject, which is, as we all know, we're taping this about a week after the unfortunate scandal that broke up there in Penn State in the unfortunate firing of Joe Paterno after 40-something years up there coaching in Penn State. And just give me your sense of the reaction about what's happened over these past couple of weeks.
Man, initially, I feel a bunch of different ways being a mentor, Chaz, and being a coach myself of younger kids. And immediately my heart was into it. And I'm a father as well, so immediately my heart was into it. And, I said, yeah, he deserved to go. I'm a Joe Paterno guy, though. You know what I mean? So how can you not like football? How can you like football and not like Joe Paterno? You know what I mean? So Joe Paz, he's been one of the icons we've had in football and a great role model. However, me knowing how the game goes and how these camps go, and the reason that you send your kids to these camps, Joe Paterno was the only reason, and his success for Penn State was the only reason that these parents allowed these kids to go to this institution. So I felt like he had a duty and an obligation to go beyond reporting this to just his administrators. I felt like he should have reported this to the authorities. It was a crime.
I think you see a system-wide breakdown of what happened up there. Of course, you had Jerry Sandusky, who committed these atrocities.
Sure.
And then you have this gentleman who caught him in the act, but instead of stopping it himself, which everybody you've heard over the talk show radio say, there's the legal thing you have to do, then there's the moral thing you have to do, which is like you and me, men who would stop it from happening. But he did the legal way of climbing up the ladder. Yeah, that's all good. Maybe if you see a white-collar crime, but if you see something of a moral implication, which this happened, you have to jump in there. We don't want to sit there and say, what would I do in this situation? But I think everybody, 99% of the people would say, what I would do is stop what was happening and kick this guy off, because it's not just about Joe Paterno, which this is a greater lesson for kids around there. This is what happens whenever Joe Paterno is not in the center of it, but he has people all around him, and this is what happens that affects it, that, you know, Joe Paterno didn't commit the crime, but his people around him did the crime, and this is why he's fired.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, I stayed up last night till about 2 a.m. or a little bit after reading the grand jury report, and that's amazing. Joe Paterno wasn't the only person who dropped the ball. You know, that entire staff, the whole Penn State administration really dropped the ball. And I got to also say, just reading the grand jury report, I got to also say that the Penn State police dropped the ball, according to the grand jury report, because they didn't take it any further. You know, I read where one of the officers, one of the detectives was asked to close the case. And the case wasn't finished. It wasn't solved. They had more people to question. I don't know. I don't understand. It shows you what happens when you put sports above moral and above everything else. You know, some people put sports above humanity, and this is what happens.
Yeah. I think, and this is also what I've been hearing also, is what happens whenever you maybe have a small town up there at Penn State College up there in Pennsylvania.
State College.
Yeah. And you know, the football coach becomes larger than life. He can do no wrong. Exactly what we've seen these students demonstrating for the wrong reason, I think, up there. That these kids got themselves wrapped around that Joe Paterno is, of course, he's an icon, but he's not bigger than college. He's not bigger than college football. He's not bigger than any one thing. He's a legend, but going up there and thinking he can do no wrong and nothing can affect him, in my sense, is completely wrong sometimes whenever you go to these small colleges.
It is. This is what we face, though, man. And I'm afraid to say, you know, being involved and knowing people, and I'm sure you know, Chaz, knowing a lot of people who played professional sports, there's a lot more of this stuff happening out there, man, and people really need to stand up and start speaking out about it, because a lot of these kids are being taken advantage of in a large way. And, you know, I wrote on my blog, Hip Hop Conservative, I wrote on my blog that the whole stop snitching thing, that, you know, that people were 60 Minutes did a special on it, and you know, not playing a race card at all, but 60 Minutes did a special on it, and they only talked about one thing. They only talked about the urban community and the younger community, about this stop snitching thing. But you know, you can go way back, man, and this not telling on the other person or not snitching, or it's just out of hand, and it's in all communities, and it's time that folks step up and start talking about this, because it's happening in a major way in sports today.
It's a societal thing, which we're going down the wrong direction if nobody stands up. That's the whole thing.
That's what it is.
It takes one person just to stand up, whether it's in the football field, whether it's society, whatever the case may be. This story goes way beyond the football field, the goal lines, the basketball court. Hopefully everybody will take a good look at each other and sit there and say, hey, this is wrong. We got to put a little bit more morals back in our society, and hopefully the football field, our sports fields, will be that endeavor for people to stand up. All right, Pudge, let's move on to Cam Newton. This guy has really injected life into the Carolina Panthers. Real quick stats I have, 174 passes caught out of 287 attempts, 2,393 yards, 11 touchdowns. How much has Cam Newton interjected life and back into these Carolina Panthers?
Man, if we could win a game, I'd say 1,000%. I'll say this, man. You can look at the Carolina sidelines, and you see something that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's happiness. The guys are actually happy. They're chatting with each other. The wide receivers are sitting with the quarterbacks. The running backs are sitting with the quarterback and the wide receivers. And you're seeing the total offense kind of click together. Now, on defense, that's been a problem because we've had a lot of injuries. But I will say that Cam Newton's arrival, and what I mean by arrival, I mean his performance and just being on the team and being the humble person that he is, this guy is a true professional, let me tell you. And I think he's done wonders for the Carolina Panthers, and I think he's re-energized that team.
I so agree with you. The Carolina Panthers are third on my depth chart as following. Of course, my number one is the Jets, then the Cleveland Browns, then you got the Carolina Panthers. And there's so much buzz around this team now. They're taking on, like you said, we're taping on the same day they're playing the Tennessee Titans. This show will be shown on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems like it's a good win. If they can get it, he's got a little injury problems going into today. I believe his shoulder's hurt. But hopefully this sounds like a good win versus Tennessee. Then moving forward, that puts so much more life into these guys. I don't think they're going to get a wild card into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the NFC South. But I think this, hopefully for next season, this puts a little more energy, a little more hoopla for the team. If he stays healthy, the whole team stays healthy.
Yeah, I think the coaches are happy about their position. I mean, you got to look at, we had no training camp. Cam didn't really have time to get prepared the way most rookie quarterbacks would get prepared for the game plan. I'm sure he got the game book pretty late. I think he's done wonders. I think the staff is happy with what they're seeing. These guys, they have to be inspired because you got to remember, out of all the games that we lost, out of 6 games that we lost, at a total of maybe 35 points. I'm not sure what the exact total is, but it's been less than 40 points. And that's got to make you happy out of 6 games. I mean, each and every game that we played, including with the Green Bay Packers, New Orleans Saints, we actually, I mean, you name them, every single one of them, we had a chance to win that game. The Panthers had a chance to win those games. So there's no game that they played that they were totally out of. The coaches have to be happy considering the time that they had to prepare. And, I don't know. Each week I think we're looking a little bit better on defense. Maybe the play calling is a little bit shaky because I think there's some things that they're not comfortable with Cam doing, but they try them anyway. So, more preparation, training camp, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, they've been totally competitive. And just about if not all the games have been in, just about a majority of the games have played in.
Yeah.
So that's going to be some positive buzz. Hopefully people don't get too dejected. Is he in the running for Rookie of the Year? Right now, I believe he's probably give and take with Andy Dalton up there in Cincinnati. But Andy right now,
Dalton is selling this business.
Yeah. Up there with Cincinnati, that they're in the running for maybe a playoff berth up there. So how do you see this playing out?
If you look at the complexity of things, I think Cam Newton, hands down, is probably the Rookie of the Year, only because stats number 1, leadership number 2, and professionalism number 3. I think Cam offers some things that we hadn't seen in a very long time out of rookie quarterbacks. We've had a lot of bust in a lot of years, but this guy is a true leader to come in and pick a team up like Carolina, who was really down. I mean, we've had some tough years and some tough things happen on our sidelines. We were talking about trading our marquee guys. And it wasn't all the marquee guys. We just lacked leadership. We had Jake Delhomme there for so long, and it's hard for a quarterback who's not performing to be a leader. So taking all into account, I think Cam Newton has a really, really good edge over Dalton to being a Rookie of the Year.
Let's get your grade, your impressions about this midway point in the NFL season. We just touched on the Panthers. We just touched on the Cincinnati Bengals, who right now are playing pretty good in that competitive AFC Central division. Who stuck out as a surprise to you? Who do you surprise that, man, they've really fallen off the radar?
Well, I got to start with, and I always have high expectations, but I got to start with New England. What in the world is going on in New England? I can't call it, but right now, I mean, they have the Jets today. And to me, that's a potential loss, but they're 5-3, and in large part, that's a good record, but not for New England. So New England is really surprising me. I can't believe that's what's going on with those guys. Normally they come in, they're fiery. Normally, they can't be stopped virtually early on in the season, and they only lose 3 games the whole year a lot of the times. I'm not sure what their record was last year, but New England has been the big shocker to me. Like we talked about before, Cincinnati, their success has also been, in large part, the biggest shocker for me. But let me just pause for a second to talk about the greatest shocker of them all, okay? Green Bay.
Yeah.
Undefeated at this point. I did not see this coming, especially how Carolina played them. I'm like, uh-oh, you know, they're going to be in trouble. Not putting down Carolina at all, but undefeated at this point, and rightfully so. I mean, they're holding their own in every game, and they're winning some big games, and they're winning them. I mean, it's not a flip of the coin. I mean, they're going in there and they're commanding the game and they're controlling the game. Aaron Rodgers has impressed me like no other quarterback right now. One more team I wanted to mention was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know they're 6-3 at this point, but they're wishy-washy, Chaz. I don't know what to say about Pittsburgh. A lot of times, I got to be honest here, they've won a lot of games by luck, if you ask me. Couple field goals here, game-winning plays there. I don't see Pittsburgh being the commanding team that they once were, but I don't know what they're missing because they have all the parts to be a Super Bowl team. They're not getting their job done.
Let me say this. Is there any team that this really doesn't look like a strong, any one team doesn't look like a strong NFL season for anybody to break out? You know, in the past it's been the New England Patriots. We have the Green Bay Packers. They're sort of doing it quietly. But this really looks like it's a toss-up sort of season. Maybe it's because of the short training camps with the lockout or anything like that. Is it sort of surprising to you?
I think maybe the lockout has something to do with it. It's totally shocked me, though, because a lot of teams just don't look really sharp. It's hard to look at the whole NFL and go, you know, this is the dominant team. I mean, even with Green Bay being undefeated, just for the life of me, I still don't look at them and say, you know, this is the dominant team. They're going to win the Super Bowl hands down. I just don't see that at all this year.
It's sort of we're halfway point where the Bills have made their run. Oakland sort of jumped up and made their sort of run. It's going to be interesting what to see the second half of the season looks like as we go more towards locking up those playoff spots. All right, Pudge, let's move on to college basketball here. We saw, if you watched it on Friday night, a great spectacle on Veterans Day as Michigan State went up against UNC. And if you're like me, seeing that great shot of playing a basketball game on that aircraft carrier out in San Diego, that was something else. Is UNC, they're saying UNC's number one preseason. They showed it on Friday night. But is UNC going to be the team to beat going into March Madness?
You know, I like to say, yeah. You never know what you get out of UNC, even when they have a stacked deck. A lot of times they'll be a dominant force, but not for the reasons that we all think. So I think they got a great coach, and a lot of times their dominant force turns out to be a change of the offense. They're a running team one year, they're a post team the next year, they're a pressing team the next year, and they seem to use those strategies to get it done. I will say on the books, and looking at them play that Carrier Classic with the Spartans, they really look like the dominant team in college basketball right now because they have so many bodies that can get in there and play and give you some good time. And with the way Hanson's playing, their front court is playing awesome. I'm kind of shaky on the back court. I don't know what'll happen with that, but I guess we'll see. But right now they're looking like the team to beat.
Yeah, it was sort of, you know, as a UNC fan that I am, they started off slow that first half. But they sort of build and build and build all the way up till they were just forcing their will on Michigan State on that aircraft carrier. So that was something pretty cool to see. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with them coming up later this year, and as we get into ACC play in a couple weeks and months here. Something sort of closer to your heart is the NBA, and it's not playing any games. I think Derek Fisher has a meeting with the player reps next week or during this week. We'll see what happens. How worried are you not seeing the NBA?
Man, the NBA, you know what? The players and the owners right now can kiss my butt. You know, I understood what was going on with the lockout at one point. And I really had a good grasp on it. And it's, Chaz, it's been down to the point where I've actually grabbed a calculator and started calculating some things and writing them on paper, and I'm going, okay, well, this still makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Somebody's getting greedy, though. I think the owners actually made a strong effort to come to the table at 49-51 or even at 50-50. You know what I mean? So now I think they're at 51% still and 49, but they're trying to fix some of the other things that are going on. I don't even know what to say anymore. I think what needs to happen is that they need to come together and play some football. Maybe a temporary deal would be great, fixing in the off-season, but right now what's happening, their stubbornness is allowing both sides to continue to lose money, which is what both sides don't want. And the fans are also losing interest in NBA basketball because we're sick of the politics behind it. We just want to see those guys come play some basketball so we can enjoy the NBA season.
The longer this goes on, you can still have you can still have a season starting in January, maybe mid-January. But you're going to lose interest, you know, if it goes beyond into February, then it's just about off. Because you're going to lose interest during those couple of weeks during March Madness. Spring's going to turn, all that stuff. So, but they got to find something. More than anything else, I think the owners want to, they know they're going to lose some money, but they're trying to minimize it. The players, or at least the elite level players, are going to lose some money. Aren't going to lose some money, I should say. The elite level players who have the shoe deals and stuff like that. Pudge, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was about to say, yeah, they always have potential to earn some of those monies back. And I'm not trying to say take away money from anybody, but hey, look at the times that we're in, man. Every household is losing money, so it's only right that some of these sports organizations lose money and some of the players.
I appreciate Pudge. We're down to our last 20 seconds. Tell the viewers out there where they can catch your show.
Controversial KIRP radio show. You can catch us every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Live at www.krpradioshow.com. You could also call in. The number will be on the website. Every Wednesday night in L.A. and Washington, D.C. at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
There you go, Pudge. Thank you very much for joining me here.
Thanks, Chaz. It's always a pleasure.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us right here on Charlotte Sports Today. Thanks to Mr. Pudgy Miller for his commentary, and also like to thank the guys out there, the men and women at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base out there in Goldsboro. Also like to thank Fight Lab for allowing me to come down there, and Mr. Joe Pacheco and Mr. Keith Rockstar Richardson for their interviews, post-fight interviews out there. Make sure you watch us coming up in December. We got 2 great shows dealing with MMA, all the great stuff that happened in 2011 in our year-end show in sports at the end of December. Thanks for watching. I'm Chaz Bryant. Goodbye, everyone.